Well, I've been a potter for about 25 years, and we made slip decorated earthenware, so very much in the style of the 17th century, but with a bit of a contemporary edge. And we supplied shops and galleries, and we did exhibitions all over the country and abroad. But during that time, certainly during the 90s and the early 2000s, I was developing an interest in computers and technology. And when websites came in, I thought it'd be useful for the business to have a website. So I went to an evening class to learn how to build websites. And I learned about writing code, and it seemed to just trigger something in my brain, a part that had been lying dormant for donkey's years. And it was just a different way of thinking that really intrigued me. I also heard about something that then was called rapid prototyping. Now everybody knows it's 3D printing. And I thought, if I can bring this code and the 3D printing together with the skills that I'd built up over the years as a potter, then in theory I could make anything. I could be completely liberated from the wheel, from gravitational forces and centrifugal forces. I think it's really important for me to have had that previous experience as a potter, knowing materials, knowing processes, and understanding the three-dimensional form through living it, through making it day after day after day, and being attuned to the very fine differences in a curve. And when I'm using the CAD software, the 3D software on the computer, what I'm trying to achieve is the same energy in a curve that I tried to achieve on the wheel. So my thinking is based on that previous experience. And what I need to do when I'm creating these objects on the computer is take a sort of mental leap to what these pieces are actually going to look like in real life. Because what you see on the screen is not the same as the actual object. And being able to sort of understand, being able to make that leap based on my previous experience is fundamental to me and my work. I usually start by drawing in my sketchbook, but pretty soon I've moved over to the computer where I can sketch. I can continue that process, but in 3 dimensions with the CAD software that I use. I can not very quickly, but I can fairly easily create slight variations of a form until I'm very pleased with the form, the shape, the geometries of the form. Once I'm happy with the form, and this process might take 3, 4, 5 weeks of intense work in front of the computer, then the technical side of it needs to be addressed. Can this object be built using the technology? And that is where the bureau that I use comes in. They check the data, and I'm relying on their craft knowledge, their skills of their equipment and their software in order to enable the object to be built. So once I've handed it over to the technicians that I work with, then it's really in their hands. But they understand what I'm trying to achieve, and we have a very, very good relationship that I absolutely depend on for the success of these objects. In my previous life as a potter, the work I made was very much craft, and it was focused on materials and processes and exploring and exploiting those materials and processes. The world that I now inhabit has blurred the lines between art and craft and design, and this sort of grey territory is a really exciting habitat. It's because there are no boundaries, there are no barriers. So I feel as though I'm no longer a potter, I'm not really a designer, I'm partly an artist, but I just simply call myself a maker because it gives me the freedom to move between these different territories. So the difference for me between art, design and craft is completely immaterial. I can move wherever I like as a maker.